Hi everyone, Ben here at Pixel Portable. Hope you're well. I'm in Japan, still in Okinawa, but forget all that. I wanted to actually put out some content because it's been a little bit of a while, and I figured I'm going to do a tier list of what I think are the best handhelds of 2023, official ones, not emulators, and where they stand. So I figured I'm going to start. As you can see, I've got like 5 tabs open because we're actually going to do this in a system, which is user experience, portability, features, and game library. And we're going to do a tier list for each of those factors before we get like the ultimate tier list. So that's what I'm going to go for. Let's see if you agree with me. It's user experience. Okay. The 2DS Wedge. I love the 2DS Wedge. It's really comfortable to use. It has got the backlit screens. It has got decent battery. It's a bit of a hassle to move around. You know what? On the premise of user experience, I'm going to give this an SA tier. The reason I'm not going to give it an S tier is because even on full brightness, on a good day, it's kind of hard to see the screen when you've got direct sunlight. And because there's a gap between the front glass on the top screen and the actual screen itself, it makes the glare even worse. So I guess user experience, I'm going to have to put that into A tier. Next is the 2DS XL, it's just double S. User experience, it's brilliant. 3DS original. User experience. I'm going to put that in A tier, and the reason I'm putting it in A tier is because the screen is kind of small. The 3D on those smaller models really used to mess my eyes up, so I'm going to put it there. But the next one, the 3DS XL, I'm going to give that an S. In fact, I'm just going to give that double S. Yeah, because as far as user experience goes, they're identical. Experience is identical. We've got the DS. Is this the DSi? This is the original DS. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. User experience of the DS is good. It's very good. It's an S. The DSi, I think. And I think it's just the same. Yeah. Oh no, it's the Game Boy. Oh. This is like a D or a C for user experience. There's so much that's not great with the original. The screen tearing, the coloring, contrast, the sound, the battery life. It's bad. It's bad. That's a D tier. There's no way around that. The Game Boy Pocket made it slightly better, so I'm gonna put that above it. But I have never used this before. Oh, see, the Neo Geo. No, this is the Sega Game Gear. The Game Gear. I want to like the Game Gear more, but the
screen tearing
is so bad. I mean, is it better? Is it better than a Game Boy Pocket? If I had to pick which one I was going to play in optimal lighting, because they both need it, I think I would pick the Game Gear. But I would pick the Game Gear. It's B. Is it a B? It's C. It's C. I just want to be nice to it, but it's not good. Oh, look at this. It's the Game Boy Advance, which would be an S tier for its form factor if it wasn't for the fact that it has no backlit screen. So it's gonna have to be a
Game Boy Advance SP.
User experience. Ugh, I can't put it up to double S because the screen is and the screen is okay actually in harsh light. It might even be better than the XL in direct sunlight. I think it actually is. I think I need to bump these boys down. In user experience. Yeah, I do. Wow. This needs to be a B. Even though it's so comfortable, the screen is miserable. If you've used one of these recently, you'll know what I mean. I recently picked up a new one, and yeah, I was testing out and I thought, wow, I forgot how bad these screens were. So yeah, it's gonna have to go there. And as a result, Game Boy Color goes in the same spot. It's got the same screen. It's just as comfortable to use. Game Boy Micro, ooh, I really like my Micro. What's the screen like in daytime? I think it's pretty good actually. I think this is an A tier. It's an A tier experience. So this is going to obviously differ greatly for a lot of you because some people have bigger hands, some people don't like how small the screen is. Is it better than a Game Boy? Yeah, it's not. It's like a worse SP, right? But it's smaller. So that seems right. That seems like the right place. I don't know what this is, so I don't know what that is. And then we've got the new 3DS. The new 3DS goes with the 3DS. I mean, yeah, because all we got different between the two, user experience wise, is if you're playing lots of Monster Hunter, you get the C-Stick little nub, which is quite nice. But I had the attachment for mine, so I didn't need that. So user experience, is it a better experience than the 3DS? Yes, but is it as good as these? I'm not sure. And if you're wondering why I picked the DSi's in S, is because their screen is pretty good in direct sunlight if you're outside, in comparison to the ones below. Ugh. I just don't know. I think the new 3DS, as a user experience, it's better than... Yeah, I think it's S. Is it S? Because this is the standard size one, isn't it? Yeah. Well, this is that. No, it's got the same problems then. No. New 3DS XL is incredible, but I think that the screen is... No, the screen is as good on an SP as it is on a 2DS XL. I know that much. So I guess I'm going to put the XLs up here in the SS. Yeah. Oh, original DS, the big block boy. I can't remember how good the screens are on that. I mean, that's the only defining factor at the moment for this like top tier, A tier, I guess. What's going on with my... I guess I'm going to chuck it into A tier? No, I'm not. It's going to go in B tier. It doesn't belong in A tier. User experience, it's chunky. The screens aren't great. Oh, the PSP. I played this so much. I played so many hours of Monster Hunter and 𝙎𝙬𝙀𝙀, Patapon, Metal Gear Acid, Metal Gear Portable Ops. Where does this go? I know it's pretty good in direct sunlight. I don't... User experience is good too. What's the downside to the the PSP from a user experience perspective? Nothing really. Battery life isn't as phenomenal as some of these other options, but UMD drives kind of suck. Oh, it's got a really good HUD though, and a really good like operating system. You can listen to music quite well on it, and it's S tier. Now Vita, I keep wanting to pick one of these up while I'm here in Japan because they're not too expensive. I know they're about the same as they are in Europe, but I can't actually grade it. But if it's anything like the PSP, it's probably going to be S or SS. You can let me know in the comments if you own a Vita, how good they are. Should I get one? I want to get one. This is... I don't know what that is. Steam Deck. User experience. It's not SS. It requires a little bit more effort to get things working than it does on these ready to run consoles. But everything else on it is really good. So it doesn't have the lofty heights of SS, just because the experience overall has more bumps in the road. But when it works, it's great. So I guess that's where that goes. Nintendo Switch. It's not Switch Lite though. For the sake of this video, I'm going to pretend this is a Switch Lite and not the brick Switch, because they haven't got the Switch Lite here. If this was normal Switch, I would say it's kind of A tier. If it was Switch Lite, it's probably the same actually. So yeah, A tier. This I don't know. So the Wonders ones, there's 3 versions here for some reason. I think one of them is the color, which might be the one I just dumped there. I don't know. The only one I've ever touched is this one. I keep thinking about picking one up while I'm here. I've got a couple of Wonder Swan games that I'd like to try out. I know, I bought the games and not the console. Very smart man. The Wonder Swan feels really flimsy, and it's very small. Feels kind of like a cheap calculator, but it might play well, and I can't grade it. I just can't grade it because I haven't used them properly. This is it. User experience. Let me know, what do you think about that, user experience? I'm going to move on to the next section now. Section 2, portability. This should be quite quick to do. So we'll start with the wedge. The wedge is very portable, but its shape is awkward, so it's going to be a B, an A or a B. It's going to be a B. 2DS XL folds nicely, super portable. It's S tier. It's S tier, yeah, it's very portable. It's chunkier than some of the other options in here, so I'm going to maybe put it A tier. 3DS original. It's smaller, but it's heavier, so I guess A tier. The 3DS XL, A tier. DS, lighter, smaller. In you go. S tier, same with you. Game Boy, C tier. It's chunky, it's big, it's quite fragile. Game Boy Pocket, obviously, smaller, better. This I've never used. These are massive. It's worse than a Game Boy. It's a D tier. It's a D tier. Yeah, there's no way that's... Okay, so we've got the GBA. GBAs, small, light, go in a pocket. They are as good as... Yeah, they're as good as A tier. They might even be S tier. A tier, and the reason I'm saying A tier instead of S tier is because the screen gets scratched up really easily. It's got nothing protecting it. Game Boy Advance SP. Is it SS or is it just S? I think it's S tier, because it's still got some weight to it and some size. Game Boy Color, it's B tier. Game Boy Micro, double S. I don't know if you've ever used a Game Boy Micro, then you'll know that they are pretty much the most portable thing you can buy. They're even smaller than a Mii Mini. New 3DS, I mean, they all just have the same form factor, so they just... In fact... Yeah, because they fold, that's right. This is heavy and clunky. Is it fair to have the 2DS? Yes, because the screen isn't protected. It's fair. It's fair. PSPs, I have these in my pocket all the time, but they are still like an A tier, so that's about there. Never used this. Steam Deck is D. Needs its own tier, really, for just chunk. As much as I love my Switch Lite, if this was a normal Switch, it would be D. Switch Lite is probably the same, actually. Yeah, they're both D, because the screens can get messed up. I mean, I have mine in my pocket a lot, but I don't think it's portable enough. This can go in here. The Wonder Swans are tiny, and they weigh nothing. So I'm going to put them all up here, because I have held them. I haven't played them, but I've held them. And I know how portable they would be. So there we go. That's that section.
Very quick.
Right? No real surprises here. The smallest things and the lightest things being at the top. Okay, so this section is features. And a lot of these are going to be in the same brackets because a lot of these machines are, you know, the same sort of thing but iterated differently. So take, for example, we'll start with the 2DS. The 2DS has Wi-Fi, the IR thing. No, the IR thing is 3DS only, I think. I might be wrong on that one. But 2DS has Wi-Fi, 2DS has all the features that the 3DSs have except for 3D. So maybe A tier? No, S tier. S tier. It's pretty... Now that I think about other things that are in the format, maybe A tier. Yeah, I'll adjust it as I go. 2DS XL, fantastic. Everything that the Wedge has, but it can fold, and it has a bigger screen. So it's got that feature going for it. Bigger screen, nicer feature. It's got the C-Stick, the 2DS does not have that. Yeah, it's just better. 3DS original, it's on par with the 2DS, because it's technically better, because it has 3D, whereas the 2DS doesn't. And it can fold, features-wise, because that's what we're talking about here, features. 3DS XL, same place. DS has most of those features that the 2DS has. So I guess A, yeah. Game Boy, what features does the Game Boy have? It has sound and adjustable contrast nubbin. Yeah, it's D. It's D. It's D. Its batteries last like 3 seconds. It's D. This is the same but smaller. Size could be considered a feature, but I'm not going to. We've got portability for a reason. The features on this are that it has a color screen. That's its upgrade to these. I can't remember if it's stereo or mono. I think it's mono. Headphone ports on all these. So yeah, nothing too crazy going on here. The Game Boy Advance, what features do you have over everything else? You can play more games, but that's going to be in the next factor, which is games library. So yeah, the Game Boy Advance, what feature do you have? You've got an LNR, you've got triggers. That's it over these. So yeah, you're just above. SP has a light, and that's it. Game Boy Color falls into the same category here. You fall into here. These all have the same features, just different sizes. You are kind of the same. PSP, you might be ss, because you have everything that these have, but you can put videos on there. You can have music on there. There is a camera for the PSP. I own one. It's terrible, but it's still there. I mean, obviously, these all have cameras too, so that's not really a big flex. But it has got the GPS attachment and because we're going to talk about attachments, so that's a different category. I can't really do that. So just based on what it has, yeah, the PSP has more. PSP has more. I mean, you can argue it doesn't have a 3D screen like the 3DS XL, and that would be fair. Maybe the things with 3D should be higher up. I mean, you can't put movies on a 3DS, to my knowledge, or at least not without homebrewing it. Whereas you can with the PSP. I've not really used the VS, so I can't assume, actually. I'm not going to assume. That can just go there, that can go there. Features, I mean, the Steam Deck just has all the features. This has everything that the 3DS has without 3D. What else could that? Yeah, so that's really just like there. This goes here. The features on these are, one of these is color. I don't know which one it is. I'm going to assume it's the red one, okay, for the sake of argument, and I'm going to put it in the color section. I might be wrong on that, but just know that from my perspective, I was thinking that this one is the color screen version. So these would be basically like this. Yeah, that seems pretty fair, actually. Nice. That was an easy section. We should go on to the next section, the last section before we do the total score. Okay, this is section 3, 4 even, and this is games library. Obviously a lot of these are going to have similar things, but there's going to be a little bit of a difference. This is coming from the perspective, obviously, of unmodding these things. If you mod them, then the games libraries change drastically. But if we go by unmodded, as they are, stock, games libraries, 2DS XL can play only 3DS games and DS games. So that's kind of like, it's a good chunk of games. And the 3DS has some fantastic games, and so does the 2DS. So I guess that's an A, or is that an S? That is a lot of good titles. Yeah, I'm gonna say A. I'm gonna say A. I'm gonna say S. I'm gonna say A. No, I'm going S, I'm going S, I'm going S. And that's obviously the same for all of these. Now, this just plays DS, which is fine. I can't remember if it plays Game Boy Advance. I think it does. So that's pretty good too. Game Boy Advance and DS has some good titles. Game Boy just plays Game Boy. Game Boy has got good titles, but it's C. It's C tier. Same with the Pocket. See, the titles on the Game Gear, pretty cool. There's some fun ones, but there's not a lot. I think that it's got as many good titles as original Game Boy has. I think that's fair. Game Boy Advance gets access to both Game Boy and Game Boy Advance, which is pretty damn good. It's A tier. Goes the same for the SP. Game Boy Color has some really good titles, as well as being able to play Game Boy, so it's just better than those. The Micro is the same as the Advance. These two I've never heard of. 3DS. All the 3DS stuff is S, because you get 3DS and you get DS, but you don't get access to Game Boy and Game Boy Color. Sorry, Game Boy Color and Game Boy Advance. You can't step back that far though, unfortunately. PSP's got some fantastic titles, so that's an S. I don't know about Vita. I imagine it's as good or better. You get so much choice with the Steam Deck that it can't be anything except SS. Switch is okay. It's hit and miss on its titles for me. Are there more Game Boy Color games that I like than there are Switch games? No. So it goes here. Okay, we've got this I've never used. Yeah, that's that section. Now we have our 4 sections covered. I'm going to go through and work out the ultimate tier for everything based on the previous tiers that we've done. So I'm going to get on with that now. I'll bring up the images on the screen and we can see where they stand. And this is it, the final section. We've done our previous gradings for each of the categories I had, which was like features, games, portability, and user experience. And I've assigned a number to each of those ranks, and then I've calculated all of the numbers up for each console, and I will go through them now. I'm going to pick them in random order because that's more exciting, right? The DMG Pocket came in with 8 points. So that's less than 10, puts it in C. This bottom tier is obviously still the never used things, even though I did grade randomly the Wonder Swan on portability. It didn't matter because I didn't do it on anything else, so that was stupid. Next up is Game Boy Advance, which is 13, puts it in B. Let's do the 2DS. The 2DS came in at the 2DS 16. Why does that say 5 to 18? That means meant to be 15 to 18. Damn. Right. What was it? Easy grade. Easy A. Next up is the Game Boy. I bet you can't believe where that came in. Came in at double S. No. It came in at C. The DMG came in with a measly 6 points based on this tiering system. The Game Boy Advance SP was, I'm just reading my notes, 18. Just on the cusp of greatness. And that's how it feels. It feels like that as a console. And we've got the DSi XL, and that was 18 as well. Well done. And we've got the DS Lite, 18. Shouldn't surprise you that things that are very similar will grade similarly. The Switch. Switch was an interesting one. The Switch came in at 14, so it's just below A tier. And it's kind of fun seeing it alongside a Game Boy Advance, because in my head, if I hadn't have done these categories, I would have probably put the Switch higher than the Game Boy Advance. But it's in the same sort of ballpark when you work it out this way. We've got the Game Boy Advance Micro, and that was 17. Again, very close to double S, but not surprising that it came in at the same as an SP. We have the Game Boy Color. Game Boy Color was 11. Only just scraped itself out of C tier, but it's there. It's a nice average console, I guess, as far as this grading is concerned. We have the DS OG. That came in at 14, so that was close to being in A tier, and that's probably because it plays the Game Boy Advance games as well as the DS games. I think that was the big boon for it. Let's throw in the 3DS XL. That came in at a 20, which is double S tier, and as you would imagine, the 2DS XL also was 20. The 3DS, the new 3DS was 18, puts it in A tier. The Nintendo 3DS XL that came in at the same place. We've got the normal 3DS, that's 18, and we have the Game Gear came in at 7, so it's on par with things you would imagine it would be. No surprise there. Now, PSP, where do you think the PSP came in? A whopping 20. A whopping 20. I highly recommend picking up a PSP if you get the option to. If you can hack it, then it's even better. It's very good, in fact. But even non-hacked, it's a good console. It's a very good console. And then last but not least is Steam Deck, which you might be thinking, woo, it's gonna come in at triple S or double S. No, the Steam Deck scored 18, let down by its massive bulk, which gave it the 1 point. And that's true. I love my Steam Deck, but it is massive. It isn't the most portable thing. It's obviously more portable than a laptop, but it's not more portable. Do you agree with this? Do you think this is a complete bullshit tier? I mean, you might, and that's fine. I would like to see yours though, so if you could send me some in the comments, send me links to them, that would be cool. I'd like to see where you would put these yourself. And yeah, it's been a bit of fun. I didn't want you to think I'd forgotten about you, because I hadn't. So yeah. Would you like to see more tier lists of things? Would you like to see tier lists of games or of series? I don't know. I hope you have a good day, and I'll look forward to seeing you again soon. We've got a lot on the horizon.